welcome everybody to the Hustle Stack Invest Repeat podcast, where we're focused on generational wealth and financial literacy. My name is Fraz.
I'm Dale.
I'm Keesa K.
All right. And we are thrilled, not only thrilled, we are humbled to have the amazing Keesa K here to kind of go a little
Thank
bit
you.
in depth in regards to her journey in creating the Hoops Queens.
Hoop Queens, Hoop Queens.
Hoops
Hoop
Queens.
Queens. No,
Hoop
no S on the
Queens.
hoops, but Hoop Queens.
Hoop Queens,
Yeah.
correct? I stand corrected. Hoop
So now you
Queens.
guys know.
All right,
Yeah.
now you know. So we'll get right to it. So Kisa, obviously what you've done within the last few months over the course of the last year plus has been very inspirational. But what has really sparked that inspiration within you to start Hoop Queens and really put this thing on the map?
Yeah, the inspiration behind Hoop Queens was just not seeing enough Black women in the sports or basketball space as well. And yeah, just not seeing a lot of like people that look like me that was the representation. And I really started Hoop Queens because the little girls that I was coaching at the time like needed that leader slash mentor slash big sis. And obviously I had just finished school when I started coaching, and I was like, I can teach you about life, you know? And at that young age, I was pretty young. I mean, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But I was like, I've been through some stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't look at myself like a mentor, but I was like, okay, I could be your older sis. I could, kind of walk you through these things that you're about to go through, because they were in grade 8, grade 9 at the time. And I was like, shoot, if I could do this for these 12 young girls, I could do this for a couple of young girls and kind of take it citywide, worldwide. And then I started Hoop Queens, and because I went to school for business, I was like, let me not waste my degree. Let me not waste my money. Let me start this business and kind of operate it in a way where it's true to me, and lean into the things that I've learned in school, and then just brand it as well. So started Hoop Queens in 2020. Just started off with like some runs, invited out some friends that played with me
Yeah.
growing up. And then it kind of just came together. Like, I mean, 2 years before Hoop Queens, I was trying to start a business so bad. I was like, okay, go to school for business, gotta start a business. Like,
Yeah.
and just nothing was working. And I kind of let Hoop Queens just kind of come to me. Like, it was just like a very natural thing. I leaned into it, and then I was like, all right, let me brand this thing. And then I just momentum year after year, just kind of build momentum. And then I started Canada's first paid women's basketball league.
That's
Mm.
dope.
That was 3 years ago. We're in our third season, but yeah, it was. It's just been. I didn't come up with a business plan. Literally, I was like, all right, shoot, we're starting this thing, brand this thing, start marketing. And then I learned, throughout the years that I have been doing it, like this is how you maneuver. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what started it. And now it's kind of put a battery in my back of like, this is my life's work slash like
Yeah.
just encouraging women and empowering women to be the best versions of themselves, whether it's through basketball or just like mentorship. That's how I
Okay.
kind of started and inspired by.
Oh, dope. No, that's a dope point. And even picking back up on something you said there, being a mentor, what do you think the impact of basketball particularly is like on the youth or the people that are involved in, and what are you
Mhm.
doing?
Yeah, I mean, sport is just a gateway to success. Like, it's not like basketball is like, it's a great sport. It's my favorite sport, obviously, but it brings people together. It teaches you transferable skills, whether it's like on and off the court. It's like there's so many things that basketball teaches you, like patience, like consistency, hard work, time management. Like, you can't just like show up to a game. Like, you
Yeah.
have to show up. You got to eat right first. You got to put in the little pregame routine. Like, there's so many things that lead up to like playing a basketball game. So I think like sports in itself, basketball in itself, just teaches you so much things. And as you go into your life, or sorry, as you go into your sports journey, you learn so many life skills.
Yeah.
Um, and then once you give back, you teach, you kind of hand the torch down and teach those like transferable skills that you learn now to the young kids, because I mean, the kids nowadays are just on Instagram and learning things. But um, yeah, aside from that, it's like there's a lot of life skills that the sport teaches you. And I think you don't realize it until you are at the end of your sports journey.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Just to share a little bit. So that's actually what brought me to America.
Oh, yeah.
I actually got a basketball scholarship
Okay.
here, so I shared a little something
Okay.
something with right
Just know,
with
just
you guys.
know.
So it's funny. So I can 100% relate to that
Mhm.
because I worked very hard and it did instill a lot of those qualities that you
Yeah.
just mentioned. It gave me that time management. It gave me the discipline. It gave me the responsibility to know that I had to get up, I had to get to practice, I had to
Yeah.
get there. Yes, I had mom, dad to try to support as best as they could, but we
Yeah.
gotta be honest that they were
Ultimate to you.
working,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
They were out there and they needed to work
Yeah.
and they couldn't be there all the time. So I had to be independent and I had to learn how to be an adult
Yeah.
and conduct myself not only as a traveling throughout the city and the different parts, whether playing AAU,
Yeah.
whether,
yeah,
through high school. Because when and you know very well, if you play basketball, you you wanna be the best player that you
Yeah.
can be, and you're very competitive. So
yeah,
you're not here just, "Oh, I'm just here on the team." No, I'm
Yeah.
trying to run this
Yeah.
team.
Literally.
yeah.
I'm
Just
trying
fact. That player.
I'm trying to be that guy, or I'm
Yeah.
trying to be that girl,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm out here,
I'm
like,
coming to the league.
I'm out here to come on, man. I'm out
Yeah.
here shooting in the gym.
Like, come
You know
on.
what I'm saying? So,
Listen.
so I totally get that, and I agree with you 1,000%. For me, I think that, I've had a lot of those, opportunities. I played with Mike George,
Okay.
who started CIA
Yeah.
Bounce with Tyler Ennis, his
Yeah.
dad, and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and that has transitioned to at big, NBA agent.
Agent. Yep. Yep.
So that's people like that. I've been around Shane Bosco's,
Yeah.
right? Shane Bosco's daughters now is
Jasmine Blasco. She's
okay. So you see, we could
Listen.
talk.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
could talk
yeah,
at that
yeah,
talk.
yeah,
You guys
exactly.
see,
yeah.
Because
let me
Jasmine's a
know.
dog.
I could pull up.
Jazz is a
Right?
dog.
So, but so I think that with creating this amazing brand that you've
Mhm.
created, that comes along with a few different things. It comes along with the challenges and it comes along with the triumphs.
Yes.
And so that's where I want you to kind of expand a little bit more for us. Don't hold back. Let us know because
Tell me.
people need to know. Because when you think about business, it doesn't matter if through sports or just business itself.
Mhm.
There will be challenges and there will be triumphs, and
Yeah.
you got to push through them. So,
Yeah.
kind of just want to hear that through
So
your
many. Okay. So many. I think I do a pretty good job of not, like telling everybody what's going on behind closed doors. Because as small business owners, like that there's like you're a firefighter. I literally change my display picture sometimes as a firefighter because I'm putting out fires. And just everybody knows that as a small business owner, you gotta wear all the hats.
Yeah.
So I've learned now to delegate and create this amazing team that I have. So the trials and triumphs that I've been through and that I'm still going through is just one figuring it out like where do I go next? How do I scale this thing? I think at first it was like one just finding gym time. Like
Yeah,
how do we play basketball? That's like one thing. And as a woman, as a Black woman, for people to take you serious, like it was a very like they gave us 45 minutes first. Like it was like
wow.
probably 30 minutes to be honest, not even gonna lie. But once they seen like the impact and like the gym was filled and
Yeah,
women wanted to run, it was like we had like 50, 60 people that wanted to run. I was like,
yeah,
okay, shit, this is way too big.
yeah,
I gotta get another gym. Like he just started to actually like plan and not just like, yeah, pull up on a
yeah,
Sunday.
yeah,
So I think just finding gym time and then also just finding the like I guess financial strategy behind your business as well.
yeah,
Um like I said, I went to school for business finance, good with numbers, good with like budgeting, projecting, all those other things. So like thank God I had, all that. But just figuring out a way where I'm also not trying to price myself out of market and also
yeah,
not trying to like, price gouge and just like charge people too much. And I think at first it was just like, okay, how do we get our, break even?
yeah.
How do we make sure that all this gym is being cost? Because I didn't have a lot of money. I was at first I was I was doing bookkeeping for lawyers.
Yeah,
So like accounting and stuff. And I realized like I'm not taking my paycheck to do this. I was like, I need people if people are gonna like, enjoy this, I need people to also be held accountable of like, hey, bring $10. This is the gym cost, the water, the snacks, the experience that I'm trying to put on for you. Yeah, I'll put my money into it, but I also, one hand doesn't clap. Like I need to make sure that, people are also paying for the time that I'm putting in. So I think that was just like figuring out the break even. And um, then I started to figure out, okay, cool, I can apply for grants. That was like the next step. I was like, I'm not the greatest writer in the world,
Yeah.
but I know how to read. I was like, listen, grants are not that hard. You literally just have to read the eligibility and the requirements to the application. And then if you're truthfully trying to impact the community or do something with your business and you truthfully believe in your business, talk about it. Talk about what you want to do. And I don't know. I mean, I don't have any like secret sauce to it. I have the secret sauce, Keesa K. But but yeah, no, and then I started to, figure out the whole grants and I've never taken out a loan, but, figuring out, okay, how to find these applications and, who to connect with and, if the grant cycle is not out, connect with people who are from the organization to tell you when the grants cycles are gonna come out. So just, like, little things like that, and I think, yeah, email etiquette and just, like, figuring out that stuff, and then with the league stuff, when I started, the paid league in 2022, and that was just literally just telling people,
Yeah.
"This is what I wanna do. I wanna pay people to play basketball." Doesn't sound so crazy, but it is crazy in our world. So, I was like, the men do it. Men get paid to play basketball. Why not? And it may not be like, millions and thousands of dollars, but it's a start. So this is what I want to do. How can we get this out? How can we figure this out together? And networking was like my biggest thing after figuring out like how my business is going to run. It's a nonprofit. I have a for-profit side now. But figuring out, okay, how am I gonna like, maneuver through this? I gotta make sure my network is deep enough, and supportive enough to like put me in those rooms and introduce me to people. And then once I was introduced to people or brought into those rooms, I mean, my personality and I kind of just did that work myself, of being confident and just being like unapologetically myself. Like I'm not someone that's like gonna walk into a room and be like, "Hey, how are you?" And like code switch and
Yeah.
shit like that
Yeah.
because it's like people can see that. Once people see that you are authentically yourself and like you have this passion for your business, whether it's a nonprofit or a for profit, they'll support you. Like they love the real like
Yeah.
can I swear? Can I
Yeah,
swear?
yeah,
Sure.
you can
I
Okay.
mean,
curse all
do
you
whatever you
want, you
Okay.
know what I'm
need
saying?
Like
This is
they love the real you. Like they
to.
love the real shit. So it's like because a lot of people are caught up in the corporate world and they're in the corporate world, they're like, they can't really be themselves, but they love to connect with people who can be them with like by themselves or with
Yeah.
themselves. So, for me, it's like me being authentically myself, they want to support it because it's like, shoot, she's so cool. She's so like authentic. She's so like down to earth. And it's like, I think that's just my personality, but, um, it kind of my personality speaks for itself when networking and things like that. And just kind of being confident. I mean, I've always not always this way, but yeah, like after the figuring out the grant stuff, figuring out like how my business is gonna run, what services I'm gonna provide,
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, these are like the buckets, these are the pillars, this is my mission, this is my, all the vision and my pillars and all the other stuff. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to practice in the mirror. These are the things that I'm gonna say. Like, um, yeah, and the passion behind it kind of just speaks for itself. So when I got into those rooms, I knew what I was talking about. I knew where I want to take my business, and then people were supporting it. So it's honestly like there's no blueprint, there's no plan,
Yeah.
but like I mean now there's a plan, but there's no like this is what you have to do. Like it's kind of figure it out as you go, and you'd be surprised how many big companies are figuring it out as you go because listen, there's a lot of companies that people are like, "Oh, they look great on the outside, but they're hell on fire." Like, it's literally like it's crazy. But yeah, no, just kinda just figuring out as I go and learning as I go. There's a lot of, like, bumps that I've run into, just, like, maybe not, scaling as early as I wanted to. I really had all these ideas, but I really wanted to be good at certain things before I stepped into the next thing. So just, like, figuring out that type of stuff. What other barriers that I kinda run to? Getting into rooms. That's a big thing because I think just as a community,
Yeah.
we're just not invited to those rooms, and I think, being open to just, like, connecting with people, whether they're Black, whether they're white, whether they're come from any descent, it's like, just connect with people, like, I've always been taught when you walk into a room, say hi to
Yeah.
everybody. Like the screw face capital thing, like that's not something to like be proud of. Like it's really not. I think when we walk into rooms, hey hi. You never know who knows somebody. You never
Yeah.
know who wants to introduce you to someone because you have a dope idea. So being really open and just being personable to like just anybody that you meet, like literally down the street, like I don't know if you're in a coffee shop, oh, what are you drinking? Like just
Yeah.
random conversations will get you into rooms. And not saying that you have to like forcefully do so, but just learning how to just, be a people person and connect with people, whether they have to introduce you to someone or not. Just connecting with people is like kind of like just a way to go about life and business. So
Yeah, we talk about that a lot on the podcast, the importance of networking and
yeah,
collaboration and, you know,
yeah,
etiquette and stuff like that. You mentioned something about grants. In that same like
yes.
speed of the
Ooh.
grants we see out here, we see like Team Jordan, we see
Oh yeah,
Foot Locker, we
yeah,
see all this stuff.
yeah,
Kind of talk about like how does that feel to have affiliate
yeah.
with these kind of brands and kind of how that all
It's like, to me, I will literally wake up every single day. I'm like, I can't believe I'm this person. Like, what? Like, I'm like this little shy girl. I mean, I've always been like, kind of like confident and, out there assertive, I would
Mm.
say. But like I was never this like, oh, I'm gonna, be an influencer and like, connect with these brands. I was never that I love Nike. Like that was like I wanted to work for Nike. I wanted to design a shoe. Like that was like my life goal, I think. After modeling. And then I was like, "Oh shoot, like I'm working with Nike. I'm not even working I'm not working for them. I'm working with them like side by side as a partnership." Um and they're amazing partners and I think getting into those rooms and just like seeing like honestly like I like there's certain things that I like as a woman, as a black woman. I'm like, these are the people I want to partner with because I use these products.
Yeah.
So why not? Just like investing, I'm gonna invest in the products that I use because I'm like at least I get a little bit of money back,
Yeah.
some dividends. But yeah, no, the brands that I work with and it's just so surreal to me. It's beyond when they reach out to me, it's like they love my content even though I don't really put much out. I mean, I do, but like I'm not as, an influencer as people think I am. I need to do some more content. Lewis, hit me up. But yeah, no, like this all these brands and stuff, it's more so just being authentically myself. Like because a lot of brands, they have like, the red tape, they can't like say certain things, they can't do certain things with campaigns or whatever it is. Like they connect with the people who are community leaders and impact leaders and change makers. So that's kind of like how I've also built the Keesa K brand. Like Keesa K is very separate than Hoop Queens, and yes, it's tied together. But I've really tried to separate the two because my legacy that I'm building, when I'm gone, I want Hoop Queens to live. Like Hoop Queens can't be like Keesa K can't be the face of Hoop Queens because once Keesa K, I know, I knock on wood, whenever
Mhm.
my time comes, like I need it to
Yeah.
live on.
Yeah.
So I strategically did that. Um, and building this Keesa K brand, I'm like now kind of like, okay, this is who I am as a black woman, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, um, having a nonprofit, a for profit, and also working on some other things. Like I want to be like I want to be aside from Hoop Queens, and just like athletes, like I think we have this we're one minded like mentality where like we're just an athlete. Like
Yeah.
once we're done, it's like okay, well, who the hell are we? Like we have this. What are we doing with life? Like what are my skills? What am I good at? What do I like? And I don't want to be just contained into this one box of like, oh, the owner of Hoop Queens. Like no, I'm Keesa K. I'm separate. I'm an owner. I'm a business owner. I have different things that I want to do in life
Yeah.
other than Hoop Queens. Of course, Hoop Queens is my baby. But I want to build some other things aside from Hoop Queens too, but it will be intertwined from Hoop Queens, but yeah.
Well, that's perfect because that leads me right into my next question. Then, future vision. You've obviously worked out, and well, you're going to still go through some of the kinks, right?
Yeah.
As you continue to grow this business of yours. You've got the team in place, which I'm pretty certain that are very high level
Yes. Yeah.
and execute just the way that you see it, you see fit. But what does the future look like for Hoop Queens?
Yeah. Great question. I know I'm probably not supposed to say so much because my team's like, "Oh, don't say all the ideas."
Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry.
Um,
It's okay.
no, NDA. I'm joking. Um, no, and I also just want to add to the last question about like just the trials and tribulations that I go through. Is like funding is so hard to get, as a woman, as a Black woman. Um, just it's so hard to, like, get people. Yes, they'll support it, like, yes, 1 year, 2 year, but it's like, okay, how do we create, like, a 5-year investment or a 10-year investment? Um, and, like, different looking at just different rates, ROI, like, it's just there's a lot of, like, in terms of, like, investing and funding and, bootstrap, like, all that stuff, it's, like, it's very, very difficult. I think that's what I'm going through right now, with scaling and figuring out all the ideas that I wanna, create. Um, but with Hoop Queens and Keesa K, our future plans, we are looking just to create more opportunities, create more opportunities, paying women.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, paying women and just like more education on starting your own business. I think there's like a lot of hardship when it comes to and imposter syndrome when it comes to like just starting your own business. It's
Yeah.
so hard to start. Like that's literally the first step. And I think encouraging women to just like figure out who you are and, like, what you wanna do and, like, yeah, there's just and you can't you don't have to just be good at one thing for the rest of your life, like, there's different things that, as life goes by, there's different things you're gonna find yourself good at. So, our future plans is just to create more opportunities and more paid opportunities and encourage women across the country, across the world. Um, yeah, just take the world by storm, one project at a time.
So
No, I think that's at this point is gonna happen. I
Yeah,
don't think that that's will be a hurdle for you. I think that that's well on its has its legs and it has its wheels going in that trajectory. So
thank you.
when you think about entrepreneurs, because you were an entrepreneur and
Yeah,
still are an
gosh,
entrepreneur,
yeah.
right? I know you're wearing the hat now of a boss,
Mhm.
but you started as an entrepreneur. What would you give advice to? And I know you shared a little bit, throughout some of the questions and some of the stuff that you just answered. But what would you say would be, if you want to say your top three advice, things that you would give people that are starting out
Yeah,
in
top 3.
business?
Oh my gosh, do we have another hour? We have, like, 5 hours? Um, top 3, 1, I would just say, like I said, start, um, because I think the hardest part is starting. I think a lot of people think that it has to be perfect before you start. Listen, I had no business plan. I was like, "Okay, let's just pop up at a gym, figure it out. We're calling this thing Hoop Queens. Okay, well, let's brand it, figure out a font that we're gonna use and a color that we're gonna use, and let's just do it." I think the hardest part is, like, starting it because we hold back on ourselves. We make sure that, like, we wanna make sure the marketing plan is there, the business plan is there, like, all the things that, people YouTube and read that you're supposed to do before you start your business, and I think a lot of people don't really do that before
no.
they, like, start their business. It's like, I just gotta start. Like, that's like the first part. And, if you started, the kinda kinks and things that you go through day by day. Um, and with that starting, you have to, like, really, really do the work. Like, I mean, I wake up at 5 AM now to, like, more workout and make sure my mental health is good, but before I was waking up at 5 AM to, like, plan and do the grant writing and just do so many things before my 9 to 5 because gotta pay the bills.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are still at the position where, you're starting your entrepreneurship journey and you don't wanna make the jump yet because bills have to get paid, like,
Facts.
it's just surreal. So, I think really, really putting in that work before work and and after work, after your 9 to 5 is super important because it's like the sacrifice you're making, um, right now with these first 2, 3 years is like literally like the the benefits or the fruit that you'll have, after the 3 years you'll see. So, um, that was just like, yeah, starting is my first advice. My second piece of advice would be, consistency. I know your shirt says consistency is key, and I'm not saying this because, we're on the
No, it's all
podcast.
good. We can plug this if
Yeah,
you want.
yeah.
You know,
Plug
it's
No,
that
but
up.
I'm being so dead ass and just like
Mm.
when I say like, waking up at 5 AM and putting in the work before your 9 to 5, like consistency is so key. And I think consistency in like life itself, like whether you're, work on your business, fitness goals, whatever it is like that is literally the key to life. Like if you are consistent with something and you're dedicated to something, like it will be successful. Like there's no way you're working like, at something for 3 months and you don't see a little bit of work. And if your mentality or perspective is like, oh, I don't see any progress, it's like you got to change your mentality because you're one step further than you were at day one.
Yeah.
Consistency for me is like is so important. I think I fell off a little bit, and to just kind of catch yourself to like, yo, like put back in the work. Like don't get complacent. Like yeah, there's like goals and things you gotta like give yourself grace, but consistency for me is like is still something that I struggle with. I think everybody struggles with because it's just literally the key to life, and nobody like and like we say it, but it's like, do we actually do it for like the period of time that we're supposed to be doing it for? So consistency is very, very hard. That's my piece of advice. Number two. Number three. Um, Number 3 for business owners, because I wanna, like, make sure like, I have, like, 10 pieces I have, like, so many pieces of advice. Surround yourself with people who really believe in your vision. The network piece is so important. Like, I would not be here where I am today without the people that I've, like, built friendships with. Yeah, they're not my day one, like, in terms
Yeah.
of high school or whatever, but they are literally they love like, the friendship enough to be like, "Yo," like, they speak literally my name in rooms that I'm not in. And I think that's so, so important. So, yeah, my piece of advice was just that work on that network piece. Even if your business is, not booming right now or, it's not it's kinda stagnant, like, get into those rooms, get a PR, get, like, yeah, like, the team or get somebody to, like, or you could even email people yourself, like, literally cold call. I literally DM people all the time, and I'm like, "Okay, well, what's the worst that could happen? They could ignore me or they could, act like, they seen it and whatever." But I'm like, at the end of the day, I shot my shot, like,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, it's pride and ego if you really think that, like, these people really, like, are gonna, um, talk shit about you. So, um, networking is the biggest, piece of advice I would say, and just yeah, put your pride aside, put your ego aside, and just get into those rooms, be personable, because that will take you very, very far.
Yeah. No, for sure. Those are three
That's
strong ones I
solid.
think we could end on, right? Like,
I agree, and I can't disagree with anything you say.
Thanks. Okay.
So I think the last question for us, because I think you've shared a lot of knowledge and insight into your journey.
Yeah.
Um,
Wish I
um,
could share some more. I mean,
oh,
don't worry,
we can
don't worry,
always, we can
we'll
there's
always,
have
time
another
for
that's
there's
we'll
time
have a
for
part
more
2.
yeah, there's
talks.
always time. There's always time. But really the role of representation. I know you've mentioned,
Yeah,
being a black female, being a female,
yeah,
in this space where, like you said, you've walked into rooms and it felt
yeah,
very awkward and
yeah,
you were outnumbered.
yeah.
And even when we look at that throughout, a lot of big corporations when they release, their top 25 females,
Mhm.
business owners, we really don't see what's very, very small,
Yeah,
a representation of people from our culture, our ethnic group, whether it be on the male or the female side.
yeah,
So that is obviously huge for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
And you're knocking down doors, which is going to inspire generations to come.
Mhm.
So how
Thank you.
does that feel? And what is that? Does that motivate you in the morning when you get up at 5 a.m.
Yes, definitely.
To say, you know what, let me keep doing this because I know there's probably a young lady or a young boy that
Yeah.
is looking at me like,
Yeah, yeah, and good thing you said boy too, because there's young boys that are like,
yeah,
"Wow, like there's a black person in this
yeah,
role that's
for
making
sure.
decisions." So, but I would first like to just answer that question by it's overwhelming. And I think we don't really talk about it as black people. Like we are the first, or if you're, getting into those rooms, it's a lot of weight on your shoulders to kind of carry yourself, right? So, um, I think, yeah, at first it was very like overwhelming. Like, oh my God, I'm this black woman that has to like put on kind of for the
Yeah.
city or for like the black women that are kind of up next. And, it's definitely overwhelming and kinda just sometimes it puts me through a lot of stress because 'cause I'm also like, "Damn, like, all this weight is on my shoulder and I gotta carry it." But then thinking about the junior hoop queens or the little girls that are coming up and that love literally Coach Kisa or Hoop Queens itself coming to the games, then that's like, okay, well, I got to do it because these young girls are looking up to me, to Hoop Queens itself of what I built, and that's what kind of motivates me to just keep going. And like, there's times where I get frustrated every day, every week. There's times we're not perfect, but everything is not always like amazing, flowers and candy. Um, but the times that I do get frustrated, I always think about, the little girls that are, like, literally waiting for my Junior Hoop Queens program. Um, and it's motivating. It's just motivating for me that I have to keep going. That's kind of what keeps the battery in my back going because it's not about me. It's not about the girls that are, um, currently, playing. It's really for the next generation to look forward to, like, they have a community, they have a support system, they have what I'm building for them kind of thing. It's like, I want what I didn't have, when I was younger. So, the world is like our oyster, and I wanna be able to teach young Black girls, like, "You can do this." Like, as long I did it, you could do it. You could do it 10 times better. And let me show you kinda how I did it. So, with that being said, like, there's definitely a lot of weight on my shoulder to kinda keep going and keep that torch, hot and fiery, but, um, when I do pass the torch, it's gonna definitely be worth it. It's worth the work, so
Well, you heard it there. A lot of weight on the shoulders, but if there's any shoulder that can carry that weight, it's Keesa K. So if you don't know, now you know. Tap into the Hoop Queens, Keesa K. Again, support her initiative, support Hoop Queens,
yes.
and everything they do because, again, it's not only a positive outlet for our community, but it is something special and a very historic, I think, moment in our time here
Yes.
in the city
Mhm.
and throughout Canada because you're watching greatness right in front of your own eyes.
Thank you.
So
Absolutely.
again, we thank you,
Thank you.
and as always, it's nothing but love and respect.
I appreciate you for
Always.
having me,
Uh,
and just wanna say, everyone, like, work hard, like, you know, if anybody doesn't notice your business or who you are, it's like you gotta work so hard to, like, force them to kind of work with you or choose you, you know? So, learn that throughout the course of my time of being an entrepreneur, and just keep at it because it'll come, your time will come. And if it doesn't come, there's for a reason. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree.
Holla at me, Keesa K, Hoop Queens TO, www.thehoopqueens.com, and message me if y'all need advice. I'm definitely open to any coffee chats. So yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
having me, guys.
And
All
let's
right.
get
Thanks
it.
for being here.